Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode on the Cut Inside podcast. Today, we're going to be discussing the semi-finals of the World Cup. Uh, my name is Kaustubh, and today I'm joined by Rohit and Devashish. We recently made a video where we spoke about the round of 16, so don't forget to check that out. So let's start with the first semi-final, guys. It is Argentina, my boys, and Croatia, who've been a thorn in many a big side this World Cup.
Uh,
What do you think, guys? Can Messi beat?
I actually wanted Argentina to win before the tournament, but now after making several videos with Kaustubh, I want them to lose. But no, man. Repeat of 2018 when Croatia smacked Argentina 3-0 or 3-1. I don't remember the exact
Yeah, 3
scoreline.
0 3-0.
But this is a very different team, obviously, to that team. Different game. It's not going to be, again, it's not going to be a clear cut result. Croatia will push Argentina to the limit, and Argentina is a team that doesn't take the game by the scruff of its neck. Either Argentina also likes to play around it. That fits perfectly into Croatia's hands because Croatia don't want them to take the game to them. Croatia would struggle against France. They struggle against France because France are quick. France are
Mhm.
decisive. Croatia is not decisive. Sorry, Argentina is not decisive. So it's going to be a really close and fascinating game. I think it'll go the distance again. And yeah,
I think this time it's time for revenge, bro. It is time for revenge. I think that 3-0 match, I think, Caballero's performance in that match
mm,
has to be, it
was
was one of the
horrible.
most disgraceful performance at the international level, I would say. Forget for Argentina or any team, just being an international footballer, you cannot make those kind of mistakes. And I think this team, Messi now, 4 years mature. I think it is time for him to right that wrong. And this fairy tale run for Croatia, for Modric, for Perisic, Kovacic, all the itches. It is the end. This time, I'm thinking like it's going to be actually pretty decisive. I would say I would go the distance to say that it's going to be a pretty comfortable 2-0 victory. I would say before, like, let's not get into the predictions, but I think it's going to be a pretty comfortable win with
Devashish
Messi.
Bhai, bring some sense into this conversation, man.
Yeah, that's the one thing we always miss, don't we? No, I mean, it's not gonna be as comfortable as Kostub is saying. It's the World Cup semi-final. Croatia are gonna give everything they have. It's only once in every 4 years.
Mhm.
But I think last World Cup Croatia played 120 minutes in the round of 16, quarterfinals and semi-finals. France played 90, 90, 90. By the time they both reached the final, Croatia had played one game more than France in terms of how
Mhm.
many minutes they played, and they were shattered in that final. We can see in that final they just couldn't keep up with that. And this World Cup, with the squad slightly a bit older in a few positions, they cannot afford that once again. And maybe they should be looking at that. But Argentina, Rohit made a very good point. Argentina are allowing teams to get back into games when the game should be finished. Against Australia, how did Australia were on the verge. Like, let's not forget, Australia were very close. Let's not forget that left back. That left back turned into Messi, and while finishing, he turned into himself again. So that's the only reason he didn't finish. Otherwise, Australia were right back into it.
Mhm.
Netherlands were into it. One thing is, in the at the extra time, what I learned about Argentina is they do have learned game management, because Netherlands were battering Argentina. They were all over Argentina. Argentina couldn't breathe. They couldn't keep the ball. In the first half of extra time, Argentina dominated possession for fun.
Mhm.
But they didn't create anything. It was the typical Spain possession. But sometimes that Spain's possession is important when you're trying to take the sting out of the game. So what
True.
they're trying to do is, we cannot handle it. It's all going at 100 miles an hour. Let's bring it down to 20. Let's just slow down the whole game. And that is excellent to see at that level from such a young coach against the most experienced coach in the world. It was a great battle because, two very different ideas and two very different generations. That's why it was good to witness that game management. It was excellent from Argentina, but they have led teams back into game again and again, again and again. They have been lucky. I don't know how far you can rely on luck, but I think because of how strong their defense is, and I think overall they are a better team, and they have shown that they can weather the storm. They can manage the game and they can find a way. I think it will be Argentina who will beat Croatia out of this World Cup.
I think that also the ace that Argentina hold up their sleeve is in the penalties. They can always count on Emi Martinez now. I think we've seen like even in the Copa America, even this World Cup, we've seen him come clutch for Argentina time and time again. And even the recent history that Argentina have at scoring penalties themselves, they've been pretty good. While Croatia themselves are no slouches at penalties either. So, if it goes to penalties, it'll be really,
Livakovic, man, what a man. Penalty.
yeah,
If it goes to penalties, it's going to be crazy.
it's going to be crazy because both the keepers are in great form. Both the teams have been scoring all their penalties.
Bro, I want Livakovic versus Bono in the final. Battle of the keepers. Both have like not conceded. I think I don't know exactly that
I
stat.
think Morocco, I think the record they have is that they've not conceded any goal from an opposition player. They conceded one
Yeah,
goal against Canada, but that was
yeah, own goal.
yeah, true. But yeah, I think that's about it for Croatia and Argentina. Speaking of Bono, let's go to the other match. France versus Morocco, I think is gonna be a tasty affair, especially I think down the right, when it was France versus England, we spoke about Walker versus Mbappe. I think this time is gonna be best friends coming up against each other in Hakimi and Mbappe. How much do you think that's gonna play a role in the final? Devashish, let's start with you.
I think it could play a role in the final because if you overestimate or if like you put all the focus on Mbappe, Griezmann gonna put the ball in for Giroud and Giroud's gonna score. So the reason Griezmann was excellent because they put 2 and 3 men on Mbappe, and then it was an overload on the other side of the pitch. That's why the first goal took place actually. And if you can see in the first goal, when Mbappe got the ball through those 3 players from that gap and it went to someone, then it came to that side and then it got back again. As soon as Mbappe played that pass, England players stopped. They
True.
thought defending हो गई भाई, आराम हो गया, Mbappe के पास से ball चली गई. No, bro, they still have Tchouaméni, Dembele, Giroud, Griezmann, and that kind of attitude or that kind of game plan, which I don't know what kind of a game plan is that, but you have to of course focus on their best player, but then also keep in mind that the whole team is also good. They are a functional team. France are a functional team. Mbappe has a function in that team. He doesn't have the whole responsibility. So you just have to stop Mbappe at his function, not everything that he does, because he's not gonna get in the central areas of the pitch. He's gonna stay out wide. That's how he plays for France. So I think it will have an impact if they overestimate him. But I think overall Morocco have been defensively so good that I think this will be the game where they concede their first goal from open play. I think this game might just be a bit too much for them to not concede with the bench that France have, with Griezmann in there having a great tournament. Just like I think Griezmann was another one I wanted to have him a good tournament, just like I did with Harry Maguire, because I always say this as coaches: don't underestimate the power of trust. When a manager comes to you and just tells you that I don't care how whatever is going on with you at your club, in my team, you are my guy, I trust you, and you will play well. Just these words make a massive impact on any player. That's what happened with Maguire. That's what is happening with Griezmann. And I think France will have a good game. But I just don't want to predict against Morocco now because I've been wrong so many times that now I'll be like Morocco are winning against France.
I think with Morocco, I think it's going to be crazy. I think, just as you said, but I just have a feeling that, they're going to somehow, some way just bunker down, just all of them standing as goalkeepers. I don't know what they're going to do, but I just have a feeling that, I feel because this Morocco team, if you just look at them, it's like the perfect blend of that, pretty average players who are playing out of their skin through sheer will and love for their team. They're also players who are absolutely sensational on the ball and who've often been criticized for not showing enough, work rate and not working hard for the team enough, like Ziyech and Boufal. When a manager can inspire these players to work hard, to come back, defend, play out of their skin. I think, work their socks off. I think, there's nothing that's impossible. And with
I think that De Jong has been lucky at certain points. And the last game, by the way, against England, that defense was terrible. There was another game, I don't remember against whom, but France were making terrible mistakes. Varane was making terrible mistakes. He took out Varane, put in Konate, and Konate just made it sure at the end. And Upamecano, as good as he was a couple of years ago, I don't see him as the same player anymore. He makes too many mistakes, man. He just commits himself. How can he get turned by Harry Kane like this? And how can Varane have the game the way he did? They both are making constant mistakes. Luka Nanda says, Lucas Hernandez, you can't make these kind of fouls without VAR if the referee is good. But in the VAR era, you shouldn't be making these kind of fouls. Kunde is the only one who's having a fine time, but he's also struggling in you can say in specific situations when Varane is actually out of position. And I've been saying this in the start of the tournament. You need Konate in that backline. Konate has been their best defenders despite playing the least amount of time. If De Jong is not ready to learn from his mistake, you can have your worst game. If you win after having your worst game, you are lucky. They have been lucky. They have had their worst game. They should have drawn to England. That game should have gone into extra time. Their first goal shouldn't have happened after having that amount of luck in that huge game. If he now doesn't learn from his mistakes, there is something very wrong with him. And I think I rate him as a manager. Just like the whole England fan base doesn't like Southgate, there is a huge segment of the French fan base that doesn't like De Jong. I'm opposite to that. I rate De Jong very much. He's a very adaptable, very smart, very intelligent manager. But I think here once again he's not learning from his mistakes, and the French fan might get their wish of getting him sacked through after this World Cup if he doesn't learn from his mistakes.
Okay, perfect.
No, like Devashish said, right, about the predictions. Yeah, it's bang on. Like, there's no point making predictions for this game. Like, any armchair analyst or any fan on paper can easily say that France is going to win, but the game is not played on the sofa set or it's not played on paper. This is the World Cup, man. Like, I think right now, this is the sort of game that you just should enjoy it, to be very honest. Anything could happen. If France wins, it's not going to be surprising. If Morocco wins, it is going to be incredible. And I think we should just enjoy the game. If France wins, the better team has won, clearly, obviously. But yeah, it's just going to be a terrific spectacle, and I'm just happy for that there's a representative outside just South America and Europe. The World Cup has for far too long been just Europe and South American centric. So I'm just more excited about the game. It's if I couldn't care less about who wins. I'm just rooting for Morocco because they're underdogs. But yeah, just want a good game.
Okay, I think finally, now that we've spoken about the games, it's only fair if we make, just quickly give me your predictions. Argentina and Croatia, as I mentioned, I'm going for a solid, easy, comfortable 2-0 victory. Rohit,
surprise. Croatia to win it on pens.
Croatia on pens.
Okay. Don't take my prediction seriously. I'm just trying to counter your point. That's it.
Devashish, what about you?
Argentina win in normal time by 2-1.
2-1. Okay, perfect. And France versus Morocco. I feel like in maybe normal time, 1-0, another sneaky 1-0 win. Someone, I don't know, a header, they somehow just bundle the ball over the line and just bunker down and defend like their lives depend on it. But I feel like they're just gonna pull it out this time. They're just gonna do it. What do you think?
Agree. 1-0 Morocco. Agree.
And Rohit?
I'm going 1-0 France. Mbappe to score.
Mbappe. Okay, perfect. I think with our predictions in, I think that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.